जन वल्लभा गोपी जन यशोदानंदन भज यशोदानंदन भज यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभुत्यानंद श्री अद्वैत शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण को पुनः श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरी गोवर्धन धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की हरि नाम संकीर्तन की समवेत भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा और विष्णु महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I request everyone to please come forward. Otherwise I have to see this side or that side. All the Prabhus, please come forward. Unless you don't need the back wall for your support. If you need this, you can take this.
You should buy more. सबको जरूरत हो. We all need it.
So thank you very much. It is great honor and pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Dear Krishna Prabhu invited me to speak. Even though I'm not qualified, but I will try. many like known faces here. So I hope like we will have nice sangha today. So today we are going to read from Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, and
14.
And the text number
14.
If I request Prabhuji, please can you keep the book in your lap? Don't keep on the floor. Bhagavad Gita and Krishna is non-different. Krishna's words are same. So as we respect Krishna and God, same way we respect Bhagavad Gita. So generally, like I think every time we do one verse, but this time we'll do a little more verses because they are all common theme, like they are all interrelated. So what we do, we will read 14, 15, 16, 18 and the 19. 5 verses. Right. So we'll do verse by verse, so you can chant after me. तथा श्वेतेर्हयेर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवा पाण्डवश्च एव दिव्यौ शङ्खु प्रदद्मतो पाञ्जन्यं ऋषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जया पौण्डरं दद्मो महाशङ्खं भीमक्रमा वक्रोदरा अनन्तविजयं राजा कुन्ती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरा नकुला सहदेवश्च सुघोषमणि पुष्पकौ काश्यश्च परमेश्वाशा शिखंडी च महारथा दृष्टद्युम्नो द्रौपदेयश्च सर्वशा पृथ्वीपते No, sorry, I think दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्विकीश्च पराजिता द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयश्च सर्वशा पृथ्वीपते सौभद्राश्च महाबाहु शंखान् दद्मु पृथक् सा घोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यधारयत् नभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव तुमुलो अभ्युनादयन् So anyone want to chant? Start chanting 14.
ततः श्वेतेर्हयेर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितो माधवाः पाण्डवाश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदद्मतो
तथा श्वेतेर्हयेर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितो माधवा पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यो शङ्खो प्रदद्मतो.
You can chant the next one. 15.
पाञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जय
देवदत्तं धनञ्जय
पौण्ड्रं दद्मो महाशङ्खं
पौण्डरं दद्मो महाशङ्खं
भीमकर्मा वक्रोदरा
भीमकर्मा वक्रोदरा। नेक्स्ट वन।
अनंत विजयम राजा
अनंत विजयं राजा
कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः
कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः
नकुलः सहदेवश्च
नकुला सहदेवश्च
सुघोषमणि पुष्पकौ
सुघोषमणि पुष्पकौ
काश्यश्च परमेश्वासः
काश्यश्च परमेश्वासा
शिखंडी च महारथः
शिखंडी च महारथः
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
सात्यकी स्वपरिजातः
सात्यकीश्च पराजिता
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सर्वशः पृथिवीपते
सर्वशः पृथ्वीपते
सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु
सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु
शंखान्दद्मु पृथि पृथक् पृथक्
शंखान् दद्मु पृथक् पृथक्। Please, please chant. Some from Mataji side.
Next one.
साघोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यधारयत् नभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव तुमुलोऽभ्युनुद्रादयन्। You have to chant one more time. 3 times we chant generally. So 14 who need to start. तथा श्वेतेर्हयैर्युक्ते मयति सयन्दने स्थितौ माधवा पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खो प्रदध्मतु। पाञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जय पौण्डरं दद्मु महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मा वक्रोदरा। अनंत विजयं राजा कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः नकुला सहदेवश्च सुघोषमणि पुष्पकौ।
काश्यश्च
परमेश्वासा
शिखंडी च महारथः
शिखंडी च महारथः
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
सात्यकीश्च पराजिता
सात्यकीश्च पराजिता। द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयश्च सर्वशः पृथ्वीपते सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु शंखान् दद्मु पृथक् पृथक्। Chant.
सघोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां
साघोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां
हृदयानि व्यधारयत्
हृदयानि व्यधारयत्
नभाश्च पृथ्वी चैव
नभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव तुमुलो अभ्युनुनादयन् Thank you. Little difficult, first chapter. This is like so many names are there. So this is This is the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And first chapter title is Observing the Army. So this Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. So this Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord Krishna, and this is written by who wrote Bhagavad Gita? Vedvyas Muni. Compiled by So it is part of Mahabharata. There is a section in Mahabharata where this Bhagavad Gita is mentioned. So here this Bhagavad Gita started with the inquiry from Dhritarashtra. So we all know the story, most of us know the story, right? So in that context, Dhritarashtra asked the question to his secretary, or we call it Sachiv. Everyone, yes, Sanjay, I know. I'm giving the name. I'm just asking do everyone know Hindi here, or some people who don't know Hindi at all?
Auntie, Hindi. Okay.
Puneet doesn't know Hindi. He's hiding, so I think he'll look like
yeah, auntie also in the back.
Okay. No, if I use some Hindi words, so I think I just want to explain in English, or just they understand.
Mixed it.
Because some of the words might be more give clear meaning in Hindi.
Yeah, that is fine.
So he's Sachiv, secretary, Sanjay. So he asked this question to his secretary. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samveta yusava mamaka pandavascheva kim karvata Sanjaya. So in that question, Dhritarashtra, he was worried. Prabhupada says he was worried because he know that this war is going to be happening in the Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, everyone know 3 hours from Delhi, right? Yeah. So so that place is I think we already gone through that verse, so most of people what is the importance of that place is. So Dhritarashtra was very much worried about what the outcome of that war will be, because this war was supposed to be fight between dharma and dharma, because he knows that Pandavas always favor dharma, they are always following dharma, and my sons, even though he's favoring his sons, but he know that dharma is not our side. So he was worried in that battlefield, something is going to happen, right? So he asked this question in that, what exactly they did. So then this inquiry started, and we know that Sanjaya, by the grace of Vedvyas Muni, he got a divine vision through which he can see past, present and future also. Not even the divine vision is not just for view Mahabharata. The divine vision, he can see everything, past, present and future also. So even though Sanjay know that there is no hope, but he's asking question, I have to answer because I'm his secretary, so I have to answer. So he start narrating one by one. So then he's he started with that Duryodhana, start talking to his guru, Dronacharya, and then Dronacharya, he asked Dronacharya to protect Bhishma, because according to at that time Bhishma was undefeated. He was the most powerful Kshatriya at that time on this earth. So Duryodhana requested everyone to protect Bhishma. There is a particular consequence why he want to protect Bhishma, because he know that as long as Bhishma is there, Pandava cannot win, because first of all Bhishma is undefeated, nobody can defeat Bhishma, and second thing is Pandava will never kill Bhishma, even though Bhishma is in the enemy side, because Pandavas always follow our dharma. How they can kill Bhishma, so they were saying Pandava will never going to kill, and plus Bhishma have the boon that from his father. Who is his father? Who is Bhishma's father? Shantanu. So Shantanu gave him a benediction, because he gave a vow to his father. He gave a vow to his father, and then he said okay, he gave him benediction that you will not die until you don't want. And we know in Dwapar Yuga, what is the average age of human beings? 1000 years. At the time of war, Bhishma was around 400 something like that, 400, 500 something. He was very old. So at that time, like they know, like as long as Bhishma is there, it is very difficult to win. So they protected. They say like, you protect Bhishma. And Bhishma, being a devotee of Krishna, he know that there is no chance of winning because Krishna is on the other side. How can you win a war from Krishna and Arjuna? So Bhishma also know that he cannot win the war. And plus, because Bhishma is bound by like bound by his post, and because he is always serving Hastinapur, there are many reasons that he could not fight from this side, but he was fighting from their side. But his heart, from inside, he know that Arjuna and Krishna, they are going to win. So in the 12th verse, where like it says that in the 11th verse, like Duryodhana says, all of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma as you stand in your strategic points of entrance into flanks of the army. So Duryodhana is ordering everyone to protect Bhishma. Otherwise, like how come, like Bhishma was himself a great warrior. He don't need protection. But the main thing is like he just want to make sure that Bhishma is, that nobody can nobody can do any cheating to Bhishma, because he cannot be defeated in like by if you win, you cannot win war from Bhishma and Drona if you follow all the regulative principle by dharma. Because by dharma it is very difficult to win from them, because they were undefeated in their previous wars and all. So that's why Duryodhana requested, and then Duryodhana, just to give pleasure, Bhishma, just to give pleasure to Duryodhana, he put his conch shell. And then with that conch shell, Duryodhana become very happy. But now in this verse, in 14th verse, here it is said that on the other side, when Bhishma blow his conch shell, then Duryodhana become very happy. But on the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, standing on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that, in contrast with the conch shell blown by Bhishma Deva, the conch shells in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. So what is the meaning of transcendental? Like, anyone know what transcendental mean?
Remain same. Remain always same.
Yeah, there is one thing remains same, but for how long?
Like forever.
No, in the material world nothing like get forever, but here like transcendental is basically which is beyond this material world, like which is not manufactured by something with the material thing that can be compared with. Is like divya. The word divya means which is beyond this material world. So here, like it says, there are those transcendental conch shells indicated that there was no hope of victory on the other side because Krishna was on the other side of Pandavas. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with him. Because whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there, because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shell of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on both the fronts were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and this indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides wherever it was drawn over the three worlds. So we know that like at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what Sanjay gives? Sanjay gives his conclusion at the end of Bhagavad Gita. Everyone know that, right? That verse, the last verse? Yes. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanudhara, Tatra Shrir Vijyo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Sanjay gave his own opinion. Even though like he saw everything, he explained everything to Dhritarashtra, at the end he gives his own opinion. So like wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. That is my opinion. So here Prabhupada is saying same thing in the purport. Krishna is on the side of Arjuna and Krishna is a Lakshmipati. So definitely wife will follow husband. So wherever husband go, wife will go. So the Lakshmi also go with Arjuna. And the next, then in the next verse, 15, verse number 15, those names are given. There was separate name for those conchas. So here given is Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panjanya. Arjuna blew is the Devadatta, and the Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, the Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part and parcel of him, and therefore the senses of living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonalists cannot account for the senses of the living entity, therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entity, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity. And in the case of pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. The Lord has different names according to his different activity. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the calves and to the senses. His name is Vasudev because he appeared as a son of Vasudev. This is what a lot of people get confused. It's Vasudev. Krishna's name is Vasudev, not Vasudev. Vasudev is the father of Krishna and Vasudev is Krishna's name. His name is Devaki Nandan because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashoda Nandan because he awarded his childhood pastime to Yashoda at Vrindavan. His name is Partha Sarthi because he worked as charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth. Dhananjaya means lot of wealth, who has lot of wealth. So here Arjuna, because he got the wealth for his brother, that's why he's called Dhananjaya. When it is required by the king to make expenditure of different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vakrodhara because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks such as killing of demon Hidimba. So the particular types of conch shell blown by the different personality on the side of Pandava, beginning with the lords, were all very encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the supreme director, nor that of goddess of fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle, and that was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shells. Then King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Anant Vijay. And the Nakul and Sahadev blew his Sugoshan Mani Pushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the son of Draupadi and the others, O kings such as mighty armed son of Subhadra, Abhimanyu, all blew their respective conch shells. Purport. Sanjay informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavouring to enthrone his own son on the seat of kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle, beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world. All were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged policy followed by his sons. And the last verse here is, the blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Bhishma and the other on the sides of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there were no heartbreaking on the side parts of Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned, but in this particular verse it is mentioned that the hearts of sons of Dhritarashtra was shattered by the sounds vibrated by the Pandavas' party. This is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of Supreme Lord has nothing to fear even in the midst of the greatest calamity. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारे निर्विशेष सुंदरी पश्चादिष्टारे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरदस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्दे अहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथ अन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here, like in the verse number 14, it is mentioned that on the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stated on great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. And what are those transcendental conch shells are? Panchajanya and Devdatta. So the Panchajanya, like many of you know, know the story. Right? Many of you know, like how the Panchajanya story is, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, anything related to the Lord is all transcendental. So and all those things like what Lord have, they are not material things. Like here we have this mic, this mic, this is a material thing, right? And we see any weapons here, like if you take a gun or a sword or a mace, whatever, they are all material. But all the shastras and all the paraphernalia of the Lord, they all exist in the spiritual world and they are all persons. Like Panchajanya is a personality there. Similarly, Lord has, if you see, the Lord has 4 things in their hands. What are those 4 things are there? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Shankha is Panchajanya. So, and then Chakra is Sudarshana, and then we have Kaumudiki Gada, that like which is for the fighting, and then lotus flower, which is Padma. Then Lord have like Vajanti Mala. Lord wear Vajanti Mala. Kaustuba jewel. And then Lord has sword, which is Vidyadhara. Lord has bow, Saranga. And Lord have quiver with all the arrows, like that also have name. So everything is there. So similarly, Panchajanya is the name of a conch shell. So how Lord get yes?
Just a quick question. If Lord is the creator of everything, why does he need to fight other? I mean, why does he need to have all these weapons?
Why does he need to have weapons? Like, yes, very good question. Because when Lord carries these things, Lord, as if you say Lord carries 4 things: Shankha, Chakra, Gada, and Padma mainly, right? And in Vaikuntha Loka, like Lord Krishna do not carry any weapons. So Lord Krishna is only carry flute. So like if you see, like in Vrindavan pastime, Lord killed many demons, but he never touched any weapons. He killed many demons, but he never touched any weapon. You can see all the pastime. He killed Putana just by pressing so hard that like Putana lost his life. Then Tranavrata, he just choked his neck and then he lost his life. Keshi, he killed, but he can kill without weapons also. He don't need weapons. You see, like Vrindavan pastime, Lord Krishna killed everyone. Whoever came without weapon. He killed Keshi, just put the hand in the mouth of a horse, and then he choked up and then gone. And who also killed, like
Vritasura.
like
the Andi.
Vyomasur. Vyomasur, Tranavrat. And then he killed Agasur. He went into the Agasur, Bakasur. Many demons he killed, like Arishtasur. And he killed like Bakasur, and then Vatsasura. So many demons he killed. Like there are many demons he killed, but without any weapons. He carried weapons to give protection to the devotees. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma यदा यदा धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्टानां धर्म संस्थापनार्थं संभवामि. To give protection to my devotees and to annihilate the demons, I come every millennium after millennium. When Krishna comes here, he can kill without weapons also, but he just want to show the weapons, so to show that don't worry, I have weapons. Like the time at the end of Mahabharata, when the Mahabharata war was finished. Nearly at that time, Lord Krishna was there in the Hastinapur, and he was about to leave for Dwarka. He was going to Dwarka. At that time, all the Pandavas came out to see him off. Okay, farewell ceremony. They were outstanding outside, and then at that time, only few people left after the end of Mahabharata. Like on the Kaurava side, 3 people. You know the name, like 3 people, Ashwathama, Kripacharya and Kritavarma. So Kripacharya, Kritavarma, they were not that much, but Ashwathama, even though he lost the war, but he was very angry. So he because his father Dronacharya loved him so much, even though he was not qualified, but he gave him Brahmastra, the weapon, the Brahmastra weapon. So at that time when war was finished, and Lord was going back to his Dwarka, because he has 16,000 wives, everyone calling him like, you're not coming, what's happening, 4 months gone, you are still fighting. So he was saying like, now Buaji, I have to go. he was getting permission from his brothers. Yudhishthira is like his cousin brother, मेरा भाई थे ना बड़े, तो उनसे he was asking permission, but Yudhishthira was not giving. आप कैसे जा सकते हो, रिश्तेदारी निभाना मजाक बात है क्या. बार जाने का मौका तो रुक जाते थे. तो so then they say, I have to go, but then Kunti also saying, so Kunti was ready for the timing, okay, you can go. So at that time when Krishna was about to go, at that time Ashwathama released Brahmastra. 6 Brahmastra he released. 5 for Pandavas, 1 for the Abhimanyu's son, who was in the womb of the Uttara, Abhimanyu's wife. So at that time, those weapons were coming to Srimad Bhagavatam says, Sutta Goswami says, those 5 Brahmastra were coming to all the Pandavas, and Pandavas have their own weapons. So at that time, what happened, as soon as they saw the Brahmastra is coming, they didn't realize this is Brahmastra. They were about to die on that day. उस दिन उनका मरण निश्चित था. They didn't know what to do. So, but they didn't ask help to Krishna also. So they took their weapons to start retaliating the Brahmastra. Brahmastra is a weapon which you cannot retaliate. There is no other astra which you can diffuse Brahmastra. No, not in the human being's hand. So at that time they were about to die. But Krishna, as a Bhakta Vatsala, he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra and he diffused all 5 Brahmastra. At the same time, Uttara came from the palace and she was running, and she come and directly took shelter of Shri Krishna. He said please help me, because this Brahmastra, which is iron weapon, very forceful, is coming to kill me and my womb. Like in the womb, like Parishad Maharaj was there. So at that time Krishna was there, and she prayed to Krishna to protect herself, and she said even I'll die, that's not a problem, but at least my child should not die in the womb, because that Brahmastra was targeting the child. So Krishna, being a Yogeshwara, Krishna, one of the name is Yogeshwara, he can do anything, he's a mystic, he's the great mystic. So what he did is, he was standing on the chariot, at the same time become very small, he entered from the mouth of Uttara and entered into the womb of Uttara. And along with that, he carried 2 weapons, his Sudarshan Chakra and his Kaumadi Gada, both. So and he entered there, and then around the womb, he was encircling so fast by taking his Gada that he diffuses the power of Brahmastra. So at that time, Parikshit was in the womb and he saw Lord Krishna. He saw Lord Krishna that he came to protect me. one personality. He don't know who is that personality, but he saw that somebody came to protect me inside. And he was carrying a Sudarshan Chakra. While at that time, in order to diffuse Brahmastra, he didn't use Sudarshan Chakra, he used his Gada, Kaumudi Gada. But he was circling so fast, it looked like a Sudarshan Chakra. So, but then our Acharyas give commentary like, so Lord Krishna, by sitting there, by standing on the chariot, he can diffuse anything. He don't need to go inside the womb of Uttaras and then using his two weapons and do it. He could have done it from there itself by Sankalpa Shakti. If Krishna decide to do something, it will happen. Nobody can, like when we say like, if we have to do something, first we make a strong determination in our mind, okay, I have to do this, okay. And then we have to really do the work to finish that. So suppose if you want to go to New York, you decide, I have to go to New York, okay, I decided. But that doesn't mean that you are in New York. You have to get a car and then drive and then go reach there. But as soon as Krishna ki sankalp shakti hi uska karma hai. As soon as Krishna decide to do it, that means work done. So if Krishna would have, he could have protected from there itself. But because he was very, very compassionate, I will tell you a story why Krishna does that, He was very, very compassionate. So he entered there. So our Goswami, our Acharya says that he carried both the weapons. Why he carried both the weapons? Krishna, in a hurry, he didn't realize. Like they say that Krishna is like comparing like an ordinary man. Like in a hurry, he could not decide which weapon will work. So it's like, if this weapon work, I'll use. If this weapon work, let me take both the weapon and then save my devotees. So then this comes like, because Krishna loves the devotee very much. For this, there was one very, very nice story. Birbal and Akbar, that thing. So one time Akbar asked this question to Birbal, I have heard that in your tradition, in Hindu tradition, Lord comes here, Lord take avatar, भगवान आते हैं यहाँ पे. तो कहता मतलब भगवान को आने की क्या जरूरत है, वहीं बैठ के रक्षा क्यों नहीं कर लेते? Like if Krishna is so powerful, you say Krishna is God, he is so powerful, he is ultimate powerful. Why don't he save all the devotees by sitting in the Golok Vrindavan? Why he has to come here? Why he descends, right? So Birbal कह रहा हूँ कि किस दिन मैं आपको उत्तर दूंगा इसका. अभी तो मैं आपको उत्तर नहीं सकता. I will explain you something. So what happened is like one day, Akbar and Birbal both were going in a Yamuna, in a boat. So Birbal was what Birbal did is like Akbar has a small son, a son in the a very small son in the lap. So Birbal, what he did is he made exactly the replica of his son. उसके जैसा ना same एक कास्ट का लकड़ी का एक पुतला बनवाया उसने. He made it like a wood. Like we see, we used to go to Walmart, you see like small babies, they look like very real. So he make it like that, and then he was carrying, but Akbar didn't know that what is it. Then Akbar said, "What you are carrying?" Say like your son. Okay, son, fine, very nice, you can go. So they were roaming around in the Yamuna. At certain point of time, Birbal throw that baby into the water, and then Akbar said, "What? You throw my son?" He said, "Come on, get on the side." He jumped into the river, and then he bring it back that son, like that that wooden baby. Then he brought it and said like, "What? This is a wooden baby? Why you are carrying this thing?" So then Birbal asked, "But king, my dear king, why do you get itself into the water, and why do you bring the baby back from the water? Why didn't you ask your servant to jump into the water and bring it back, right?" But Akbar said, "No, he's my son. I love my son. So to save my son, I can jump anywhere. I can get my son back." So he said, like Birbal says, similarly, Lord, we are all sons of Lord. We are all Lord is very dear to us. In order to protect, Lord don't believe on anyone else. He comes by himself. So the purpose of Lord coming is because Lord loves all of us, to give us protection. Like as Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, to give us protection. Paritranaya sadhuna vinasha dushkritam. To protect our son, all his sons, he comes personally. He don't trust anyone. Anyone can come, but he comes personally because he wants to show the love. Like that I love, so that way he comes. Otherwise, Lord is powerful. He can protect anyone from anywhere. Like he don't need to come here, to protect. So all these paraphernalia that he carries, all these weapons, is basically assuring Like sometimes some devotee or some people might doubt, okay, I am worshipping Lord, but he's only carrying flute. If tomorrow some demon might come, how is he going to protect me? Those people have like less intelligence. Like they don't understand that Lord is so powerful. Lord can help. Lord can protect anytime. You know. And even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that. See, a lot of people don't trust, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly says that Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nityaviktanam yogshem bhamyam. Krishna says that whoever worship me or whoever meditate on me constantly, Ananyas, Ananya means without any interruption. Ananya, there is no other way, like only in Krishna. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate. Whoever worship me with Ananya bhav, tesham nityaviktanam yogshem bhamyam. I will deliver what they lack and I will protect what they have. So this is Krishna's promise. Krishna says that. A lot of people don't trust. So there is a story behind that. I'm sure like a lot of people know that story. Like one time in Jagannath Puri, there is a Brahmin. His name was Arjunacharya. So he was very poor Brahmana. He was living there with his wife, and he every day used to go begging alms. You know, Brahmana's job is to go every day, get some bhiksha, and with that bhiksha they were surviving, and their main duty is to read Shastra, to do worship, and that is a Brahmana's duty. Brahmana's duty is not to accumulate wealth or do anything else. So they every day they go for begging alms, and then he was very much faithful on Krishna, and he used to read Bhagavad Gita every day. So one day he was reading Bhagavad Gita one day in the morning, and he came to this verse, 9th chapter, 22nd verse, and he read, Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nitya tanam yogshem bhamya aham. So then he comes, yogshem bhamya aham. Then he said, Krishna is saying that I personally come. Then he said, no, I don't think so. You don't trust it. Why Lord has to come personally? I don't think the Lord come personally. He might be sending some other agent, some other person. He don't come personally. I don't think he come personally. So he doubted that word. So what he did is, he took the pen and he put a line there. He said, Yogshem Vahamyam, I don't think this is true. He just cut the line. Put the line there. He cut that word. Okay. Then he got up and then he took the bath, and then he's going for his daily bhiksha. Then he went. So while he was going out, luckily on that day he didn't get anything from anywhere. Wherever he was going, everyone was saying, हमारे घर में कोई मर गया, आज कुछ नहीं बना, आज ये हो गया, कुछ some there was one or two reasons something is going on. He didn't get anything. So he got delayed because he has to get something because there was nothing to eat in the house. So he got delayed, and in the meantime, on the back of, in the house, his wife was working day-to-day work, and then she saw that two boys coming. One is a black boy and one is a white boy. They were coming and they bring a lot of food stuff, fruits, vegetable, rice, dal, all those things they bring it, and they say like, we are bringing this for you. So like then Brahma's wife say, but why you are giving me? So like, we are disciple of your husband and we are here to deliver these material to you. But then say like, I don't, so my husband have any disciples. मेरे पति को शिष्य मुझे पता नहीं था. But anyway, like you come and then they put those stuffs there in the side. So you put it in the side. When they were putting their side, she saw on the back of one of the boys there was a big scar, big red scar. तो उसने बोला, उसकी वाइफ ने बोला, लगता है तुम्हें कि तुम्हारे पीछे इतना बड़ा ये निशान कैसा है? What happened? Why you have this big scar on the back? Then he said that, well, your husband is very cruel. He beat us so badly that see this happening to us. He beat us with a big stick. So that's why we have this big scar. She couldn't believe. No, I don't think my husband can beat you. Like my husband is so polite. Like he never does this kind of thing. There was something wrong. But no, your husband did this. Okay, then he said, like, okay, now, okay, you brought all those things, I'm going to cook, so you can eat and then go. He said, no, we have to go. If your husband comes, he will beat again. So then we have to go. So the boys left. Okay, then wife was puzzled, how come this possible? So he came in the evening, then he came, Arjunacharya came back, and he saw that wife is cooking so much of prasadam inside home today. What happened? I didn't bring it, but there's so much prasadam. Then he said, where you get it all this? You sent it, your disciple brought these things. So, my disciple, I don't know who is the disciples. And then he said, okay. Then he said, okay, tell me what are those people. But he saw like a lot of preparations are there. So before he eat, he said like, you have to tell me like why you beat those your disciples. Then Arjuna said, first of all, I don't have disciples. You are saying that they brought it. This second thing you are saying, I beat those very severely. I don't think so. But tell me how they were look alike. So then his wife explained that one boy was this, he was wearing peacock feather, and then other boy was white, he was wearing this thing and that thing, blue color things. Then that Arjunacharya realized, oh, it was Krishna and Balaram. And they personally came my home to deliver this thing. So he was start crying at that time. He said like, because I did thing in the morning, I put that scratch with the pen, that scratch was showed up on their back. And as soon as he was crying, then he came back in the evening and he started reading Bhagavad Gita again, that scratch was gone. That line was not cut, it's full intact back there. So Bhagavad Gita and Krishna are not different. Like it is whatever is there, Krishna says is there. So Krishna protects his devotees, because that is what Krishna's promise in Bhagavad Gita. Name bhakta pranashati. Like Krishna says to Arjuna that you declare my devotee will never perish. And that's what here like is when Krishna is blowing his conch shell. Krishna is blowing conch shell means this panchanya is generally when we this even in our worship we use conch shell. Conch shell brings auspiciousness. When we blow conch shell, it drives away all the inauspicious things. All the demons, ghosts, they run away. When this conch shell blown at that time, all these demons, all bad elements, they go away. Like we see like in all our daily worship, when we open our altar, we blow conch shell. When we start doing any kind of worship in the temple, we start arati or we do any abhishek, this conch shell is blown like every time. Shankh ki awaaz bahut auspicious hai. Even though it's a bone of it's a bone actually. It's if you really see if you touch a bone, you have to immediately take bath because bones are considered inauspicious, right? But this also is a bone. This shankha is also a bone, but it is auspicious because it is mentioned in Vedas. Like cow dung. Cow dung in Vedas is mentioned that if you touch a stool of anyone, you have to immediately take bath. Right? You have to immediately take bath because those considered inauspicious. But if you touch the stool of a cow, you don't know, it is auspicious. Even we put even in our like in a temples, you can put cow dung. We bathe deities with cow urine because it is considered. It is mentioned in Vedas because Vedic injunctions are as it is. We do not challenge Vedic injunctions because they are there. So these things are auspicious. And then when this Panchanya, as we mentioned, is a shankha, and there is the story behind that is like. Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna and Balarama, when they were in Mathura, they killed Kansa, and after killing Kansa, their father, who is the father of Krishna and Balaram?
Krishna and Balaram.
Yeah. Vasudev. In Mathura. And Vasudev was a king. Vasudev was Kshatriya. So according to Kshatriya tradition, like he thought like Krishna was there in Vrindavan, whole day he was just gai chara raha tha na, like he's just only doing things. He has to study properly. So like because he's going to become king later, so I have to teach him some proper study. So I do send him for study. So before sending study, we need to do his Upanayana Sanskar, thread giving ceremony. Like we give thread and then we send it to the Gurukula. So they did the Upanayana Sanskar by Gargacharya, and then Gargacharya sent him to the Sandipani Muni Ashram for studying, right? Krishna and Balarama in Ujjain, Avantika, right?
Yeah.
So Ujjain, there was like there was Sandipani Muni Ashram, still there, right? Yeah. Whoever gone to Ujjain, they might know. I never been to, but there is ashram there. So Sandipani Muni Ashram. So Krishna Balarama stayed there for 64 days in that ashram. 64 days they studied 64 arts every day. All this mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely. So they studied those 64 arts and they become very expert. It's not like us. If we take one word, we take 3 days, 4 days to remember, and then we don't understand meaning. Krishna Balaram, they know everything, but because they want to set up the tradition that everyone has to go to Guru to understand the knowledge. It is not that like even though I know the knowledge, I know everything, I don't need to go to Guru. But to put this tradition, to teach everyone that everyone has to go to the Guru to understand the Vedic literature, and that way they studied under the Sandipani Muni. So they studied for 64 days. They studied very hard, and then they learned so many music or all the 64 type. 64 प्रकार की सब कलाएं आ गई उनको. 64 प्रकार की कलाएं होती है ना, सब आ गई. They studied all those things. So at the end, once you finish your education, at the end you have to give what? Guru Dakshina, right? So it's not like today's world. You give fees first and then I'll give you education. पहले गुरु दक्षिणा पहले रखवा लेते हैं, पढ़ाना बाद की बात. पहले आप पैसे जमा करा दो, उसके बाद देखेंगे पढ़ाएंगे क्या. There you study first, then you give Guru Dakshina, and that too also what Guru wants. So Krishna Balarama, they requested Sandipani Muni, like, what can we do for you? Sandipani Muni know that these are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna and Balarama both are Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are God. They are not ordinary people. So he thought like, I should ask something very, very important, very, very precious thing. So there is a tradition, like, in a married life, if you have to ask something very, very important, you have to consult your wife. You cannot do by yourself, So he went to his wife. I said, like, hey, what do you think? What should you ask from Krishna and Balarama? They are very, very great personalities. So then her wife, she thought like, if they are God, can they bring my son back? So they requested, like, my son disappeared and I think they died or wherever. Can you bring my son back? So Krishna Balarama, God. So they say, why not? So they started. So they thought, they came to know that his son was there in the ocean, and then in the Prabhas Kshetra in Dwarka. Prabhas Kshetra, you know, right, in Dwarka, near Dwarka.
Or even Jagannath Puri.
Prabhas Kshetra. Is it in that Dwarka side? That side. So both of them went to the ocean and they summoned the ocean. Come back and give the son of our Guru. You took our son of our Guru. You have to bring it back. We came here to take the son. Then ocean came, like the deities of ocean. Samudra Devta, I don't have the deity, like son of your Guru. I guess there was one demon who is living at the bottom of my ocean. His name is Panjanya. He might have eaten the son of your Guru. So Krishna Balaram said, okay, that's fine. Krishna jumped into the water. Directly went inside there. He saw Panjanya was there. Panjanya was there in the form of a conch shell. His body was in the shape of a conch shell. And then Krishna challenged him, come. And then Krishna fight with him. And then he defeated him, killed him. And then he saw inside the belly, he couldn't find his son's teacher, his teacher's son. Then he thought what to do. Then he took the conch shell, because that's his conch shell actually. Then he took the conch shell and then he directly go to the abode of Yamaraj. What is the name of abode of Yamaraj? Sayampuri. Sayampuri. So he went there and he blew the conch shell. Lord Krishna. And Yamaraja understood his Krishna because the particular noise, the voice of conch shell is so nice and transcendental, he didn't understand his Krishna. So he came back outside, and Yamaraja, even though he chastised everyone, but he is a devotee. He is one of the Bhagavata, Mahajan, So he understood that Krishna is Supreme Personality. He came out and then he offered his obeisances and then asked, what can I do for you? He worshipped them and then said, like, I want son of my teacher, you have to bring him back. So then, okay, as you wish. So he brought the back. He brought that soul back from his thing and gave it to the Arjuna, Krishna and Arjuna. After that, they brought it back to his teachers and then they gave the son. And they become very happy. His Guru become very, very happy. And then his Guru says, like, now you fulfill my desire. You fulfill my desire and you are my best disciples. I want to give you some benediction. So, then say, like, whatever Guruji you want to give, that's fine. She said, like, I will give you benediction that whatever you will speak will become forever fresh. Never they will become, gone away. They will be ever fresh and they will be all gone. All three words, everywhere they will be chanted. So then Srila Prabhupada mentioned the purport in Krishna book. He said like because of the blessings of the Lord Krishna's Guru, the Bhagavad Gita spoken by Krishna is still so much valid and fresh. You speak every day, we discuss every day, you never feel bored. You never feel, because it is a blessing of his Guru. So that conch shell, he got that conch shell Panjanya. Padma Purana says that the conch shell that Krishna got it, that was not ordinary conch shell. He was a demon, but demon was because he got some curse, and that's why he became demon, like Jay and Vijay. Jay and Vijay are the associates of Vaikuntha. Because of the curse, they become the demon. Similarly, Panjanya, he became the demon, like because of some curse. But Krishna brought it back by killing the demon. So this is the Panjanya thing, and that is why it's transcendental. It's Krishna's things. How much time we have?
In good 10 minutes more.
Okay. So then this other one is like we have this in the 14th and 15th verse. It is said that we have this two things like Devadattam and Devadattam Dhananjaya. Like Arjuna have this Devadatta conch shell, and they are riding on this chariot. Both the things were given to Arjuna by the Devatas. So there was a story like how Arjuna got these things. Everyone know that like Arjuna, when Yudhishthira become the he was about to become the king. At that time, Duryodhana he did a conspiracy to kill all the Pandavas, and they put it this Varnavrat. They created a Lakshagraha. Everyone knows the story of Lakshagraha, right? So they tried to kill the Pandavas, and after that, when Pandavas escaped this Lakshagraha, they were running around in the forest, and then they came back after a certain after I think 10 or 12 years, something like that. They were roaming around, and then they came back, and at that time they claimed their right on the throne there in the Hastinapur. But at that time they could not decide what to do, because when they were outside, they put Duryodhana as the next king. So now they have to decide. So Dhritarashtra divided the kingdom into two parts. So one part given to Duryodhana, who is in the Hastinapur. The second part they give it to Yudhishthira. And what is the second part? The second part they give like Indraprastha. So that Indraprastha name came later. Before that it was Khandaprastha. Is what Khandaprastha. So what happened? So when Yudhishthira got that place Khandaprastha, it was a jungle only. There was nothing there. It was not even a fertile land. It was a whole jungle. And they say like, this is your land, you have to cultivate it, whatever. Right? So that time they were living in like small houses, and then they made certain houses, but they didn't have the big mansion or big like palaces or those kind of things. No big army. So but Lord Krishna one time came to stay with the Pandavas. So one day Lord Krishna and Arjuna decided to roam around the banks of Yamuna river. They were roaming around the bank of Yamuna river. So then Arjuna said like, okay, let's go to this, like they made several cottages there with nice facility. So they were for the resting place. So they were resting, and then after that they came out and they were sitting on the banks of Yamuna. Then they both, Krishna and Arjuna, then they saw one Brahmana approaching from the forest. When Brahmana was coming, he was golden color. His hairs were golden, his body was a golden color, he was well built, very strong Brahmana. He came in front of Krishna and Arjuna, and they both, because when a Brahmana comes, you have to give them respect. So Arjuna stood up and then he folded hand, he and even Krishna, they offered obeisances, and they say, what can we do for you? So then this Brahmana says, I want to eat something. I am very hungry. I need to eat. But I am not an ordinary eater. I need to eat a lot of things, because I am Agni. I am Agni Dev. I need to eat lot of things, very, very big things. Then Arjuna says, what can we do for you? Like what you need in offering? He said like, I want to eat this Khandaprastha. There was big forest there. So he said like, I want to eat this Khandaprastha. So they say, okay, like, but how we can help you? What's happening? Who is stopping you to eat the Khandaprastha? He said like, whenever I go and try to eat this Khandaprastha, whenever I do this Khandaprastha, Lord Indra comes and stops me. Why? What is the problem with the Lord Indra? So like, because in this Khanda Prastha there is a very strong big snake living. His name is Takshaka. And Takshaka is a friend of Indra. So whenever I try to devour this whole forest, Indra comes and protect Takshaka, and I could not do this. So then he said like, but why you want to eat only this forest? Why can't you eat some other forest? He said, no. Lord Brahma, like what happened is long time back, like I had a problem, stomach problem. You see, why got stomach problem? Because like one king named Svetika, he was performing yagna, and in this yagna he put too much of ghee. And too much of ghee, I got stomach problem. So now I ate so much of ghee, now I have problem. So to cure this problem, I need herbs, and lot of herbs. And those herbs are in this Khanda forest. There are lot of herbs. So Lord Brahma told me that this Khanda forest have lot of herbs. If you eat it, then your stomach will become good. So I want to eat that. So then how we can help you? So Lord Brahma told me that you are non-different than Nara and Narayana. You are great rishis. Like you Arjuna and Krishna, you are Nara and Narayana. And then you can help me. And because you only can fight with Devatas, not anyone else. Only you can protect me. So I request you to please help me. And so that I can become again healthy. So then Arjuna says, well, I have celestial weapons, but I don't have any bow to hold those weapons. I have celestial weapons, but I don't have bow which can hold those celestial weapons. And I don't have that many arrows that I can fight with the demigods and all. So if you give me those things, I'll promise I will protect you. So then Agni meditated on Lord Varun Dev, who is like an ocean deity, So he summoned Lord Varun Dev to come. So Lord Varun Dev came there and he requested Lord Varun Dev, can you give him a nice, big, very, very nice bow and quiver with full of arrows, and they need also a chariot. So then Lord Varuna, because in the ocean there so many things are hiding. So he brought this bow named Gandiva, which is like a rainbow color, like rainbow, very filled with so much jewels and all. It's so powerful. He gave it to Arjuna, that Gandiva, and he gave 2 quivers with full of all kind of weapons and arrows and all those things in it. And then he asked Varuna to bring a chariot which is of Lord Soma's chariot. That chariot also which we are talking about, which is of Shweter Hare, like all the white hairs, white horses there. There are 4 white horses in that chariot. So, and that chariot was very powerful. That chariot can go with the speed of mind, can travel anywhere. So powerful chariot and full of all the weapons, and great armor was there. So when he got all those things, then Arjuna stood on the chariot. Before he stood in, he circumambulated chariot, and then he ride the chariot. He put the big armor. He took the Gandiva bow, it strung it, and he just put it, and then everyone becomes scared because of so powerful Gandiva. And then he also Varuna Dev also give Kaumudiki Gada to Lord Krishna at that time. So this is for you, because Lord, when he comes from spiritual world, he doesn't bring anything. He will get things here. Somebody give him, like Lakshmi Devi. He got Lakshmi Devi from where? Samudra Manthan. Yes, he got Lakshmi Devi from Samudra. Samudra ki beti kehlati hai Lakshmi Devi. Chandra ki behan. So but it is just the way Lord gets the thing. So Lord got Kaumudiki Gada there, and then Lord also rode on the chariot, and then he said like, Arjuna, I will going to drive it. I become your chariot driver. Okay. Then they both are ready. You say, now we are ready. Go and eat. They say, Agni, you go and eat the Khanda Prastha. So Agni start eating everything. Everywhere flames coming. So now in that there are many demons, many nagas, and so many living entities were living there. So Lord Brahma, like Lord Agni Dev says that according to Lord Brahma, they are all demons, they are all inauspicious living entities. So if they should also get killed at that time. So Agni is going to start devouring the whole forest along with all those living entities. So anyone who is coming out, Arjuna was killing with their bow and arrow. So at that time, then everyone start, like this was going, the fight was going so fast, this thing, that Agni was devouring so fast that this news spread everywhere, and the news go to Indra, and then all the demigods, they summoned to Indra. They told Indra that this Agni is going to eat everything. What is it, a time of destruction or what? Like, is pralay aa gaya kya jo sara kha raha ho? What he's doing? Then Indra came and he saw, like, oh, this is happening. Then he thought, like, my friend Takshaka is there. I have to protect him because I give him a promise, I'm going to protect him. So he sent rain. He sent rain to stop Agni eating all the forest. So that rain came, but rain was basically, the Agni was so powerful that rain came, just all rain gone. Then he sent more powerful rain, very, very powerful rain. So at that time, Arjuna, because of those arrows, he put so much arrows that he made an umbrella on the top of Khandapras. It's like an umbrella. Now none of those weapons or water can go inside. So then Indra became very, very furious. And then he ordered all the demigods to start fighting with Arjuna and Krishna. He asked Yamraj, he asked Kuber, he asked Varuna Dev, everyone, they bring your own weapons and start fighting. Even though he bring his own thunderbolt, but that was not working. Thunderbolt was not working, all those things were not working. Then he realized that it is very difficult to defeat Krishna and Arjuna, even though he knows that Arjuna is my son. But he wants, because he thinks my promise is more important than my son. So at that time he was fighting, but he was not successful. Then he heard a celestial voice, Lord Brahma, like a celestial voice, Akashvani. Akashvani, Lord Brahma says that, Akashvani means like it is Lord Brahma saying like that. It is very difficult to defeat Krishna and Arjuna because it is Krishna's desire to finish this forest. So don't try to get this, try to defeat it. It is because of Krishna's order this is happening. And second thing is, Takshaka, your friend, is not in the forest. So then at that time what happened is, like, in the forest Takshaka was not there, but his wife and son was there. When his wife and son, when they see this fire is going on, they came out. So Arjuna shoot the arrow, and then his wife died. But when he saw his son Ashwasena, when he was coming, he started putting that arrow. But at that time Lord Indra actually put his magic, and then he covered the eyes of Arjuna, and then Ashwasena skipped. Ashwasena couldn't get killed there, so he skipped. Then Arjuna used another Vayavastra, and then he cleared all this kind of all. So ultimately, like, Lord Indra become pacified, and he say, like, well, looks like it is Lord Krishna desire, I cannot do anything. So he say, okay, let's go back, stay on, let it happen. So for 15 days that fire was going on. So the whole Khandapras was finished in 15 days by Agni. And then at the end of 15 days, Arjuna and Krishna was standing there, and then Agni and Indra and all the demigods, they again came, and they say, like, they ask, then Lord Indra says, I'm very happy, my son, you did very great job, you are very powerful. Now, as I'm a proud father, so but I want to give both of you blessings. What you want to give blessing? What do you want in blessings? Krishna says that I want a blessing that my friendship with Arjuna never go away, never break. We always we always be a good friend all together. They say, yes, fine. And then Arjuna says, like, I want a blessing that you will give me all your weapons, all the Devatas' weapons, because he knows that this is going to fight Mahabharata war. So he wants all the weapons. Indra says, I will give you that weapons, but first you have to get Pashupastra from Lord Shiva. And when you get that Pashupastra from Lord Shiva, then you will come to heaven, and then I will give you at that time. And that happened later, like when Arjuna actually meditated on Lord Shiva to get his Pashupastra, which is the very big weapon. And then after that Arjuna went to heaven, and then he stayed there for 1 year, and in that 1 year he got all those great weapons, and at that time he got curse from Urvashi also that for 1 year he's going to live in a cognito, so he's going to get a different body. So that happens at that time. So both of them give the blessing, and then Agni also give them blessing, and then after that, in that forest there was another demon named Mayadana. He was also living there. So when the fire was going on, Mayadana was coming out and he was trying to run away from the fire. So Agni was trying to kill him, and Lord Krishna was also angry on him, and he put his Sudarshan Chakra to kill Mayadana. But Mayadana was very intelligent. He took shelter of Arjuna and he said, please protect me from this fire and from Krishna's anger. So Arjuna said, I'll give you protection because you already took shelter of me. Then he requested Krishna, please protect him, like he's mine shelter. So Arjuna, because of Arjuna's request, Krishna and Agni didn't kill him. So at the end of the war, that Mayadana, he came to in front of Krishna and Arjuna. He said, like, I want you saved me, Arjuna. I want to do something for you. Arjuna said, you are in my surrender. You surrender to me and I protect you. That is done. I don't need anything from you. I didn't do this work because I want something back from you. Then Mayadana said, no, I want to give you something. So then he said, like, okay, if you want to give, please my friend Krishna. So he said, like, if you please my friend Krishna, then I'm happy. So Krishna was very smart. So he said, like, okay, why don't you do one thing? You are very expert in making architectural designs and all. Why don't you make a big, nice assembly hall for Yudhishthira? Right? So then they took Mayadana to Yudhishthira, and then he requested to make very nice palace for Yudhishthira and very nice palace for all the Pandavas and the big assembly hall. We know that assembly hall was there in that. So then Mayadana said, yes, I will build it. For that, I need to go to Himalaya. In Himalaya, I have a big storage of lot of wealth. I have a lot of gems, diamonds, all kind of things, and I will go there and get it. So he went there in Manak mountain and he got all those things. And along with that, he got two more things. One is this, in that Manak mountain, there was a pond. In that pond, this Devadatta Shankha was there. This Devadatta Shankha was, Devadatta means given by the demigod. Devadatta. So this Shankha was there from the demigod, hidden there. So he brought that Devadatta Shankha and he gave it to Arjuna at that time. And he brought another very, very big Gada. And that Gada he gave it to Bhima. So he brought both of those from there, and then he built this assembly hall, and which we know what happened after that. So this is the way they both got it. Like they got chariot, Arjuna got chariot, he got Gandiva, he got Devadatta Shankha, and then Krishna got Panjanya, Kaumudik, all those things are happened, and they were all transcendental, and they were all arranged to come. So because they know that is going to happen, the fight is going to happen, the Mahabharata war, the big one. So these are the like background of these things, and they are all mentioned in Mahabharata. Like, you know, if you read Mahabharata, these all pastimes are there in Mahabharata, and these again, like, and all the at the end Prabhupada says that when these Shankhas were basically blown, then at that time all the sides of Kaurava, they know that they are going to get defeated. Their hearts start sinking. What's going to happen, because Pandava side is so powerful, and Arjuna, and because Arjuna and Krishna on that side, so it is very difficult for the win. But still, they have to fight. So this is I'm going to stop now. Like, if anyone have any question or comment on this.
There's not too much of philosophy in the first chapter, so as we move on.
Yes, this is more of a like a pastime, like what things will get, because philosophy will come a lot. We have a long way to go. But if you have any question or comments, like.
Do Aarti then?
So if not, we will do the Aarti. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.